it's Kimberly from Sunshine. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous out? And now we're kind of out of lockdown, so we've got a real big chance to do some riding. So what's going on up here? Well, sit back, grab your cup of tea, and let me tell you today's news. So we are open, as you all know, and we are getting lots and lots of bookings, which is absolutely fantastic. And the horses are set and ready. Now, once again, I do need to stress that we are only doing private lessons, and with our lessons, they are for people who can walk and trot on their own. Cantering will only be done if the teacher feels that the rider is up for it. The other thing that is happening again is regards to the lead rein lessons. We are not having general lead rein lessons. What we're doing is, if you as a parent are a rider, then your child can have a lead rein lesson, or if they have a sibling who's a rider or a handler here at Sunshine who knows how to handle a horse, then they also can have a lead rein lesson. But otherwise, there can't be lead rein lessons. We're hoping that this is going to ease up and that classes will start soon. There is discussions amongst all the various people in the ABRS, the BHS, the BEF, which is the British Equestrian Federation, to get the lessons open as soon as possible. So keep watching. I'll let you know when it happens. Now, what we're going to talk about today is a little bit of fun. We're not poking meanly, but we are going to talk about the ways not to mount a horse. So, as you will see, I'm going to be using Lauren and Crystal, and they're going to be showing you what you shouldn't do, just to remind you so that when you come back out here and you mount up on a horse, you know what you're doing for safety reasons. So let's go off and take a look at what we're learning today. When you properly mount, you're going to come up to the mounting block. You're going to put your left foot into the stirrup. You will engage your core muscles, and you will step into the stirrup straight up, swinging your right leg over, sitting down gently, keeping your core muscles engaged. And you will end up at the end looking like Lauren and Crystal do now, with your shoulders, your hips, and your heels perfectly aligned. And you can see how happy Crystal is. That was a good mount. Now let's take a look at some of the other mounting that we could be doing. This mount I call the dancer. So you see the foot go in, and then the foot comes out, and then it goes back in, and it goes out and in, and eventually Lauren will mount. Each time she does that, she's kicking Crystal ever so slightly. And you can see that Crystal is far more interested in moving away from the kick, away from the mounting block, which makes your mount harder, but she's also very interested in eating the grass because the rider does not have a good grip on the reins. When you mount, once the foot's in the stirrup, you swing the leg and sit down. I call this mount crawling on the horse. You've got your foot in the stirrup, you're ready to mount, and for some unexplained reason, you decide that you're going to lay almost on the saddle and on the horse's neck when you swing yourself over. You really need to use your core muscles on this point. Foot in the stirrup, step straight up, swing the leg over, and sit down gently. Scrubbling onto the horse unbalances both you and the horse. This mount I call the vault. The rider comes up with a lot of confidence, foot in the stirrup, swings over, and keeps going. And if it weren't for the groom, unfortunately, the rider would end up hitting the floor. What's happening here is the rider is acting too fast. Remember, when you mount, you need to be calm and you need to be relaxed in what you're doing. So don't rush, because if there isn't a groom to catch you, the ground certainly will. This mount is called the plop. As you can see, the rider gets on and they just flop in the saddle. There's no core, there's no back, there's almost no balance. When you're coming up the mounting block and you're getting your foot to the stirrup, engage those core muscles, get strong so that when you sit nicely, you don't smack your horse's back, and you're ready to go in a strong and positive manner. This mount is called How to Kill Your Groom. Keep an eye out on the whip. Did you see how the whip flicked up and hit the groom? It's really important that you carry your whip in your left hand. If you don't carry it in your left hand, you'll flick the groom. And I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of grooms don't like it. And if they get flicked in the face a little too often, they'll refuse to hold your horse and your stirrup. So always make sure that you keep your whip calm and quiet down the horse's left shoulder. This mount is called the drag. The rider comes up to the mounting block, puts their foot in the stirrup, but they don't engage the core muscles, and they kind of fall forward and they drag their foot across the horse's rump. This can make the horse walk on. This can mess up your beautifully clean horse. This can just generally be irritating. Saying you're sorry, although is nice, what's really important is that you start learning to lift your foot. Our last mount is called the kick and drag. In this case, the rider has come up, foot in the stirrup, but not actually paying attention to what their right leg is doing for any number of reasons. And what happens is the foot hits the horse in the flank, and then they drag that foot across the rump of the horse. What happens is your horse will ultimately start learning to walk on away from the mounting block, and you, if you have not engaged core muscles, are looking at having a nasty fall backwards, possibly onto the mounting block. What's very, very important when you're mounting is to make sure that you're paying attention to what your right foot's doing as well as what your horse is doing. So engage the core muscles, lift from the knee, bring yourself clear over the top of the horse, and sit down gently. If I have any last words of advice when it comes to mounting, hold your reins in your left hand, keep your whip along your horse's left shoulder, left foot into the stirrup, pay attention to your right leg, engage your core, swing, and sit down gently. Right foot into the stirrup, and off you go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and you will remember that core is everything when you mount. And we look forward to seeing y'all soon. Private lessons are available, and lots of pole work, lots of balance work. We're going to have you set and ready. Shows will come as soon as we can. So we look forward to seeing y'all soon. Take care and keep riding.